On the 4th of July, 1187, 20,000 Christian soldiers walked into a field with no water, and a man who knew exactly how to kill them. You think medieval medicine was barbaric. You think the surgeons did not know anything. You are wrong about both. The doctors at Hattin knew everything. They had nothing. My job that day was to keep men alive. By sundown, I had given my last cup of water to a boy who died anyway. My name is Adelard. I am 28 years old. I am a Frankish surgeon trained at Salerno in the service of the Order of the Temple. My instruments fit in a wooden box the size of 2 clenched fists. Inside there are 32 pieces: bone forceps, a trephine for the skull, 3 sizes of cautery iron, a curved suture needle, silk thread boiled in wine, a probe, a scalpel ground from a Damascus blade, because the Damascus steel is finer than anything we forge in France. I tell you this so you understand. We are not what your storybooks say we are. I have read Galen. I have read Hippocrates. I have a copy of Albucasis, the great Arab surgeon of Cordoba, in Latin translation, given to me by my master in Salerno. The Arabs are ahead of us. We know this. We do not pretend otherwise. We copy their books. We send our students to Toledo to learn from Jews who learned from Muslims. In the year of our Lord 1187, a Frankish surgeon trained at Salerno can set a fractured femur with a wooden splint, can drain a chest abscess, can amputate a gangrenous leg below the knee with a survival rate of 1 in 3. We can suture a face. We can trephine a depressed skull fracture, and the man can wake up speaking. We know infection comes from foul air and dead matter. We are wrong about why. We are right that wounds must be cleaned. We pour wine into them. We dress them with linen soaked in egg yolk and rose oil. The recipe is from Theodoric of Lucca, a generation older than me, a Dominican friar who has just published a book arguing that pus is bad and dry healing is better. He is correct. He is 200 years ahead of his time. I carry his book in my saddlebag. Here is what no book teaches you. A surgeon at war is not a healer. He is a triage officer. You stand in front of a tent on a hot afternoon, and 300 men are brought to you in 2 hours, and you have to decide which 30 get your attention. The other 270 lie in the dust and pray to a saint they cannot remember the name of. On the 3rd of July, the day before the battle, my company is camped near a village called Safuria. The water there is good. There is a spring inside a Roman cistern. The horses drink. The men drink. I fill my own water skin, and I fill the 4 wineskins that hold the syrup of poppy I use for amputations. Poppy syrup costs more than my horse. The Templars buy it for me from a Genoese merchant who buys it from an Egyptian who grows it in the Fayum. The supply chain is 1,000 miles long. The bottle in my hand is silence for 15 men. At dawn on the 4th, our king, Guy of Lusignan, who became king 2 months ago by marrying a widow, orders the army to march east, toward Tiberias, toward the Sea of Galilee, toward Saladin. The Count of Tripoli, the wisest soldier in the kingdom, begs him not to. The route crosses a high plateau with no water for 30 kilometers. In July, in Galilee, with 20,000 men in iron mail. The king overrules him. The true cross is in our column, the relic of the actual cross of Christ, brought from Jerusalem on a wagon. We are told God will provide water. I have been a surgeon for 9 years. I know what God provides on a battlefield. He provides flies. We march out of Safuria at sunrise. The plain is the color of an old bone. By mid-morning, the rear of the column is being raked by Saracen horse archers, small, fast horses, men in linen and silk and leather, riding past at 100 paces, releasing 3 arrows in the time it takes us to take 6 steps. An arrow comes through the throat of a Hospitaller knight beside me. He falls off his horse with a sound I will not describe to you, because I do not have the words for it. I dismount. I pull the arrow. The shaft is birch, fletched with vulture feather. The head is a tanged broadhead, 3-bladed, narrower than my smallest finger. It has gone through the larynx and clipped the carotid. He is dying. I pack the wound with linen. I know it will not stop. I know it. I do it anyway, because that is the job. He is the first. By midday, I have lost count.
My boy, my apprentice, his name is Pierre, he is 14. He carries my second box. Pierre is running between the wounded with my water skin. 2 hours into the march, my water skin is empty. I have used it on a Frankish sergeant whose tongue had begun to swell black in his mouth. He was 37. He had walked 7 kilometers in mail in the July sun. The mail is 20 kilos. The padded gambeson under it is 6. In 30-degree heat, a man wearing 30 kilos of armor loses 3 liters of water in 2 hours. We have not been allowed to drink for 4 hours. By noon, my hands are cracking. The skin on my palms is splitting open from the salt of my own sweat. I see a sergeant pull off his helm and pour his own urine into it and drink it. He is not the only one. The Saracens have set fire to the dry grass on the slope ahead of us. The smoke is white-grey and it sits on the column. We march into it. Men begin to fall down without being shot. They fall and they do not get up. I bend over one. He is alive. His pulse is a rabbit. His skin is dry as paper. There is no water in him to make sweat with anymore. I cannot help him. I have nothing. I cannot make water out of air. We reach the twin hills the Bedouin call Kurun Haddin, the horns. 2 basalt knuckles rising from the plateau. There is a spring in Tiberias, 11 kilometers east, that we can see in the heat haze. We will not reach it. The army is told to make camp on the saddle between the horns. The Count of Tripoli is screaming at the king. The king has stopped speaking. You should know what an army of 20,000 thirsty men looks like at sundown. The horses begin to scream first. Horses scream when they are dying of thirst,
a high, broken sound, almost human. Men hold their own faces. Men sit and weep without making tears because they cannot make tears. My apprentice Pierre has stopped speaking. He is 14. He is sitting with his back against a rock, and his eyes are open, and he is not blinking. I take his face in my hands. I make him drink the last mouthful of wine I have in the spirit flask I keep for sterilizing blades. He swallows. He looks at me. He says, "Master, my mother lives in Beauvais." I tell him I know. I do not know. I have never asked him before. Saladin is camped 4 kilometers south. His men have water. His men have been resupplied from the Sea of Galilee by camel train all afternoon. He could attack tonight. He waits. He knows what the night will do to us. Through the dark, I hear the muezzin calling for the dawn prayer in the Saracen camp. It is a sound like grief itself, a long, thin call across the hills. Then I hear the singing of his soldiers. They sing all night. They sing because they know what tomorrow will be. In our camp, men whisper. The priests say a low mass. The Bishop of Acre walks among the men with the true cross held above his head. The cross is gilded silver over a fragment of olive wood. Men kiss it. The bishop's hand is shaking. At sunrise, the wind shifts, and the smoke comes back over us, and the arrows come with it. The infantry break. They run uphill toward the horns to escape the fire and the arrows, and they will not come down. The king orders them down. They stay. They die there. The cavalry charges twice, and the cavalry charges 3 times. Each charge is broken. The horses are too thirsty to carry men in mail at a gallop. Raymond of Tripoli leads 200 knights through a gap and escapes. Everyone left on the field is dead or about to be. My tent is on the western slope. I am not a knight. I am not killed in the first wave. I tend men until mid-morning. I am out of poppy syrup by 10. I am out of linen by 11. I did not lose men to wounds. I lost men to thirst, and to the cost of being a Christian doctor in an army that brought no water. By noon the screaming stops, not because there are no more wounded, because the wounded cannot scream anymore. At 3 in the afternoon, the true cross falls. The Saracens take it from the bishop. The bishop is killed. The cross is dragged through the dust by a man on a horse. The Frankish knights, what remains of them, surrender. The king is taken alive. Most of his knights are taken alive. I am found in my tent by a Mamluk officer who looks at my instruments and at my book of Theodoric and at the scalpel of Damascus steel and tells me in surprisingly good Greek that he wishes to take me to Damascus. He says his master needs surgeons. He says my life is spared. 230 Templars are not spared.
Saladin has them beheaded that evening, one, by his Sufi mystics, men who have never used a sword before. The execution takes hours because they are bad at it. I see the standard bearer with the bound thumb among them. He kneels. He is killed on the 3rd stroke. My apprentice Pierre is found alive on the morning of the 5th. He is taken into slavery. I do not see him again for 11 years. I work in Damascus for the next 9 years as a surgeon under a man named Ibn Abi Usaybiyah, who writes a book about doctors. He puts my name in it. He writes that I taught him 3 suture techniques he had never seen. He writes that I learned from him 5 things about the cleaning of wounds I had never imagined. We were not enemies in his hospital. We were 2 surgeons. 3 months after Hattin, Saladin took Jerusalem. The Crusader kingdom never recovered. Within 100 years, the Franks were gone from the Holy Land entirely. The true cross was never seen again. The Battle of Hattin is taught in military academies today as the perfect example of an army defeating itself by ignoring its own logistics. In a manuscript in the library of the medical school at Salerno, there is a recipe, written in my hand, for a wound dressing of egg yolk and rose oil. In the National Library of Damascus, there is a Persian translation of a Latin treatise on amputation that I dictated in 1193. The book of Theodoric I carried in my saddlebag was found by a Mamluk officer and is now in Istanbul. My name is Adelard. I was 28 years old. I knew everything. I had nothing. I learned the difference between those 2 sentences on a hill in Galilee on the 4th of July, 1187, and I have not unlearned it since. If you want to understand the medieval world, do not look at the cathedrals. Look at the men who carried the small wooden boxes. They knew. They were not given the chance. Subscribe. The next episode is about the day Constantinople fell. My name is Adelard. I kept the men alive who could be kept alive. The rest, I held their hands until the hands stopped moving. That was the work.